what you've been doing?
Yeah, I've been busy. Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's see.
Oh, sorry.
What?
I didn't realize my volume was on.
Oh, you're good. 2 weeks ago, sled dog. Well, not sled dog race. Land rig race.
Mm-hmm.
It's like scooters, bikes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. I had the 3 cameras out there, getting all the action shots. Made a little like motivational video. That took like 2 weeks to edit.
Mm-hmm. And that's on your other YouTube.
Yeah. And then while trying to edit that, I'm like trying to build this cool Easter set, which I'll put some pictures in this video. But yeah, built a cool wicker basket, handmade. Well, the whole thing was kind of handmade, I guess.
Yeah, the whole set.
Yeah, spent a few days building that. Spent a couple $100 on it, but I don't care.
It came out nice. It came out really nice.
It's always worth it. Like, I love the St. Patrick's Day one was like really good. This one was really cool. I don't know what we're going to do next, but I know it'll be awesome. So that was, I mean, just between those 2 things on top of like just every day, it's like trying to balance time. Like, time's tough. Like,
oh yeah. There's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, it's like, all right, it's Monday. Wednesday, I got the podcast, so I need to get this video done so that I have hard drive space. And it's just like, all right, well, I got to do it after the walk. And then after the walk, it's like I got a half hour. And it's like, all right, let's do what we can. I just cram in every little, like, second of the day. I'm always doing something, so.
Yeah.
But that's, like, how I keep myself, like, sane, is to stay busy.
Keeping you busy.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I just, like, my mind just is all over the place.
You're not alone, so.
Probably the last race of the year, I'd imagine, just because most of the Huskies don't do.
And it's getting hot out, too.
Yeah, they don't do well in this heat.
Yeah, I mean, probably like the Euro Hounds would be fine, or like
Those things are insane.
Pointers
they are so fast.
Yeah, I bet.
And the faces they make while they're running, they look like little hellhounds.
They're cute though.
I love them. Yeah. Is there anything else that I had? That's it. I mean, other than hurting like my rib in that process.
Yeah.
It was hurting when I was filming the video. Mm-hmm. It's still hurting today, but whatever.
That ride must have been fun, but also painful.
Yeah. I think that's about it, other than just like doggy daycare.
Yeah.
Just regular stuff.
Nobody tonight?
Nope, just my guys. Yeah, it's a change for next week.
For Bailey's birthday.
Yeah. It's Bailey's 4th birthday.
Yes, happy birthday.
She got ice cream today. Aww. That was fun. That's something that I've been thinking about all day. Why is 3 so different than 4? I don't know.
And you're gonna say that next year. Why is 4 so different than 5? And
I don't know. I also feel like 4 years. Like, where the hell has
exactly? I blinked and I'm like, Jetta was a puppy yesterday, and now she's 5, and I'm like, I didn't get you 5 years ago. I got you like last year. It's fine.
Yeah. So I was in line at Dairy Queen, the one on like Route 18, and there's only one person in front of me, so it wasn't a long wait. But my brain's like a million miles an hour, so I had these weird thoughts of like, all right, I just turned 30. If I live to 90, I don't know how the hell I'm going to live to 90. That'd be a miracle. But let's say I live to 90. Then I'm like a third of the way through my life. That's scary.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I was like, all right, if she's 4, 12 is
yeah.
It's not a bad life. It's like, damn, we're both like a third of the way through our lives, but like,
it's weird.
Hers is so much quicker.
I know.
Just weird.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's just like...
I wish they lived longer than we did.
I know. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I only have 2/3 of this left?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, where did all go? Like, yesterday I was a child in middle school crying for some reason. Mm-hmm. And now here I am.
Yeah. Working
full time.
Yeah, so I was just sitting there eating my ice cream just with these just like awful morbid thoughts. I go there like every day Dairy Queen. I think they know me. I don't get Bailey one every day. I don't know how much ice cream you should. I assume it's not too good for them.
It's not bad, but it's not good. Like everything in moderation. Like so, the sugar in it, you gotta make sure it's not like toxic. But I don't think Dairy Queen uses like fake sugar. Is what's toxic, and everything in moderation. So once in a while is not bad, but like every day.
Yeah. So, yep, that's it. Otherwise, just living the life. I'm happy as hell. It's nice to, I guess, also the week or two before, like I knew, like, all right, I got the raise, the Easter thing. Like, it's just like stressful, hectic. It's nice to like have that behind me. Yeah. But feel like good and accomplished, and it's like, all right,
everything's done. You can relax.
I can finally relax. I got a couple like new dogs, like family friends who are staying next week. So it's just like, all right, I got a couple days to just relax before you know
reset. Be prepared.
Yeah. So living good.
That's good.
Yep.
Better than living bad. So.
Yeah. How about you? Has the vet been or the ER been crazy?
Yes and no. Like it comes in waves. Like randomly we'll have like a quiet Saturday, and I'm like, and then the next day it's like crazy because no one came in on Saturday. I'm like, it's a full moon. People are crazy. It hasn't been bad, too bad. Nothing worthy of sharing, like sending to you lately. But
I guess that's good. Like
I know it's just kind of like we had a puppy that ate a mouse that ate rodenticide poisoning. So we had the dog vomit up the mouse, which was gross because it's a chewed up mouse. What else? Well, else had euthanasias.
I had a dog fight almost once.
Oh, really?
The dog. Here's a not weird. It's totally understandable, but all right. So, you walk in, big open field, and like at the end of the field before the hill, there's like the tree bench, like with the water bowls or whatever.
I hate those.
Yes, there was a not dead. There was a dying squirrel at the base of that tree. Like, oh, it was disgusting. I felt so bad. Like its tail was like ripped, like it had like two tail, like it was ripped right down the middle. Like, just like the legs, like all these punctures over. Like you could tell, like
something
was having fun with it. And so my guys went over and claimed it, and another dog was like interested. And I could just see all the warning signs real quick, like, them stiffening up. And it's just like, all right, I'm like, hey, like, because at the time I'm trying to get the squirrel into a water bowl so I can go throw it away. Yeah. So that there isn't.
Yeah. Something to fight about.
I don't want it to suffer. I mean, it's going to suffer. But.
Some cerebral dislocation can, quick euthanasia.
Yeah.
Just
so I'm like.
Pop its head off from its shoulder. It's fine.
Yeah, I didn't know if I should do that or not.
I find it's most humane.
Well,
I know.
I don't know if I could have stomached that.
I don't want to explain it on camera, but I'll explain how to do it. But
well, so I'm hunched over it.
Yeah.
And I'm got it in the bowl, and it's trying to climb out of the bowl. I'm like, oh, don't sit. I got poop bags on my hands because I'm not touching that with. Their hands, hell no.
They're fine. They're okay.
Yeah. I felt big. You look young too, not like a baby.
That's probably why he got chomped on. Yeah. He's young and not smart.
And so as he's coming to get out, the German Shepherd Cooper comes over, and I could just tell right away. Oh fuck, here we go. And I told him like multiple times. So the first time he comes sneaking over, and the pack like chases him away. Yeah. And I'm like. Like, it's not like he's laughing. Like, he's a teenager. He doesn't really get it. And so it happens again, and they, like, luckily nothing happened, but they chased this German Shepherd, like 6 of them, because they just, so finally I got it in the bowl. Sam's handling them. I run this thing to the dumpster. Yeah. And just, it died a sad, stinky death in there.
Probably,
but like, I don't want to leave it there to get tried. It was disgusting, but like it was real interesting watching how they like claimed it. Yeah. And like
possessive.
Yeah, like it was because like Banjo could sniff it, Cody could sniff it, but like not that dog.
Yeah.
It's not part of the pack. It was just interesting.
Like, don't want to risk it.
Yeah, I'm very happy nothing happened, but I was telling the kid, like, you can ask Sam too after. I'm like, this isn't funny. Your dog's going to get hurt. Like, please get it out of here. I'm trying to get rid of it. And like, boom, it just fireworks. It's like, fuck, dude, I told you. Like,
yeah, you were warned. I mean.
Yeah. He kept sitting on the hill with us just laughing. And it's just like, all right.
Probably because he had no control of the German Shepherd and he was going to do whatever he wanted anyways.
Yeah, it was a younger, like, puppy. Anyway. So poodles. Do you want to hop over to poodles? So I guess before you educate me, I have my knowledge of poodles is except for I've heard they're smart, and I like some of them, like look wise, and some of them I don't, which I know has nothing to do with the breed, I guess.
Yeah.
But like I don't mind. Like is the one that harasses Shiloh the black one?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't mind the look of him.
Oh, I don't either. He's a nice looking dog.
One of the ones, yeah. Some of the ones I don't like, and maybe it's not even poodles so much as smaller dogs, but like, you ever see like Shih Tzus are always like weeping?
Yeah.
And, like you ever see like white dogs?
It's called epiphora.
Okay.
It's the tear staining.
Yeah,
but they build up of gunk there. If the owners don't actively keep up with it, then they get real bad and it gets gross and then it mats right here and then you have to shave it and the skin's all irritated. It sucks.
Yeah, so when I see like that red and it's like a white, like because white dogs are beautiful.
Yeah, they are. I will say they are prone to it. Usually, white dogs or small dogs are prone to the tear staining. That's another name for it, is tear staining. Some dogs, they stain really quick because they're lighter. But as long as the owners keep the gunk out of, clean, they'll just have the staining and nothing more.
So at least, so
hygienic. The staining, I understand it because it's unavoidable for some dogs. It's just something they're born with. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just they have a buildup or over excessive amount of tears, which cause the staining, which is the red stuff. So the porphyrin in it and just like the color is staining the fur. So I do feel bad, but when they look crusty and they look matted and they look they like the size of balls of like gross junk in it, then I'm like, eh.
So that's all I know about poodles really.
Yeah.
Oh, a cat.
Yeah.
Hi, Tucker.
He says I'm here for
my
podcast. He says it's another cat one, right?
Yeah. You can hop up here and hop up. Yeah. Poodles.
Okay. Do you know how many sizes they come in?
I want to say like 2, but probably more.
3.
3.
Yeah. So they come in standard, they come in miniature, and they come in toy.
Toy. Okay. I didn't know if the toy would be like legit or not.
Yeah. I think the toy was more developed in America because we like extra small things in weird shapes as well. Just saying. But typically the standards, they weigh about 40 to 70 pounds depending on line. And if it's a male or female, usually like 40 to 60 for females and I think 50 to 70 for males, depending, again, on lines. Miniatures are only 10 to 15 pounds, so they're a little bit bigger. And then toys are only 4 to 6 pounds, so that's very tiny. And
so how are those all poodles?
So they're all
how do you get a mini poodle?
I think it's all selective breeding, so they just started breeding smaller and smaller males and females.
So it's not that they're mixing it with another small, a small Dalmatian. They're just picking the smallest poodles.
Exactly.
And slowly bringing
the weights down more and more.
Okay.
To those sizes.
That's small.
And it's funny because
I'd be scared to own something that small.
Small, I know. It's so tiny.
Remember Valley?
Oh, I know. And she was 15. So she's more miniature size. So imagine half of a Valley.
God.
Oh, my goodness. I know.
That's small.
They were originally bred for hunting, so water retrieving dogs. which is why they have a bunch of weird haircuts when you see them in the continental cut, where they have like the big poof on the head, like the booty poofs. And
I've seen like the legs shaved, almost like cuffs.
Yep,
like
exactly. So there's a reason for that. So the hair cuts, so they want it to, so they're more agile in the water and the fur wasn't like weighing them down. So they're cut so it protects the vital organs and points of where they lose the most heat. So feet, so the cuffs help keep warm there.
The pads, right?
The chest, so by the heart, you want to keep the heart warm. The head, so you lose heat through your head and your ears, and then the tail, obviously, and then that's why they have the 2 booty poofs. And that's mainly to protect like the vital organs for when they're in the water. Obviously, that became less common as they became more popular, and they got like a sporting cut where it's just like lightly cut down all over the whole body, instead of just like certain areas. I believe they were developed in France/Germany. I think it was like a weird like combo. Like they really like started them in Germany, and France kind of continued the development. The word poodle is like splashing in water. I think that's in German. But they're really cool. They're, I don't know, like you said, they're very smart, very versatile because they're so smart, active and eager to please. So I think they're a very well-rounded dog for almost anybody. It's just that their fur requirements. So unless you're keeping them like pretty short coat, they require to be groomed pretty frequently, every 4 to 6 weeks for like just shaving and or brushing, or brushing is almost daily, but full like actual grooming and trimming.
Is that because of the curls?
Not specifically because of the curls, but how fast their fur grows.
Okay. Like werewolves?
Yeah, I know. They grow fur fast. I'm jealous. I'm like, I wish my hair would go that fast. But a fun fact is that they come in that normal style you see, and they also come in corded. So if you let it do it naturally and like focus on the fur, and you're able to actually cord it like dreads, like how you see.
That'd be cool.
Poodles. Is it one of those that have like the dreads? There's one that I see at the dog shows all the time. It's a white one, and he has corded fur, and it's so cool looking on him. But again, they were like I was saying, they were bred for hunting dogs, which is why they got the weird cuts. They also have a puppy cut, so when you're showing them that they cut a certain way or keep the fur trimmed a certain way, so they look more puppy-ish. And then the continental is after a year old, they had to do the continental cut for the shows. If you're not showing, then just like a sporting cut is fine, or however you want to groom your poodle is fine. As long as you keep up with it, because it does mat and does get gross if you don't keep up with it. It's like human hair. Do they shed
a lot or no? Is it hair, not fur?
So they have different layers. The outer layer is more fine like hair, but is not specifically hair.
Okay.
So a big thing is everyone's like, it's hypoallergenic. So dogs aren't hypoallergenic no matter what the fur is. They're more likely not to have issues with people who have allergies just because how fine their hair is. But again, it's not the hair that people are allergic to, it's the dander. Yeah, right, yeah. The dander and the oil from the glands from them, from dogs. So people tend to tolerate poodles better because of how fine their fur and how their skin is compared to other dog breeds who have the thicker fur, who are more likely to shed dander, stuff like that. So that's a big thing. Right?
So like,
yeah, dogs that are prone to dry skin, you're probably going to have a lot of dander, and you're probably going to be allergic to it. Those are like the main things, is they're not 100% hypoallergenic. They're allergenic to a point where people who are sensitive can stand them.
Okay.
So if you want a dog, I think poodles are a good option if you have pretty strong allergies to animals.
Yeah.
Other than that, so right now there's only 27 colors that are
only 27.
Only 27, but only 11 of them are accepted colors by the AKC.
Okay.
I didn't want to type out all of them,
it's still
a lot, but it's a lot of colors. I
feel like I've only seen like black, white, and like a cream, like the
the cream. I really like the gray ones, like a blue gray. I really like those.
I'm sure they have them, like red.
There's like something called panda poodles where they're like splotches of color.
Huh.
I'm not a big fan of those. I don't think they look nice, but those aren't accepted anyways. In the AKC, they won't place well. In the UKC, they might place well because it's not really as strict, but AKC stuff, they only accept 11 colors and no markings, so no specific markings. Other than that, I mean, being how smart they are and being versatile, they can be for everyone, but you need to keep up with their mental stimulation needs. So what they need is a lot of mental stimulation because they're smart and they can outsmart you sometimes for what they want to do versus what you want to do. And then average lifespan can range depending on the size. So standards 10 to 15, miniatures and toys 10 to 18. So it's very variant just because I'm not 100% sure why, but small dogs tend to live longer than large breeds, which suck. But that's my opinion.
It's crazy. Like Danes and stuff live like
6 to 9 years if you're lucky. And thankfully, Borzois are 9 to 14. I'm like, they're large, but they get to live a little longer.
Yeah. Like Bailey would be like half or halfway. Like that's
same for Jetta. She'd be more than halfway because she's 5.
Yeah,
but Jetta's not a Borzois, so
it's like crazy to think of,
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
But you can't not enjoy them.
I know, exactly. They're prone to a lot of things. So idiopathic epilepsy, so just like a generalized seizure disorder. Several eye disorders. They're prone to sebaceous adenitis, I believe it's how it's pronounced, where they have like glandular issues. So sebaceous glands have issues with the oils and they can get sebaceous cysts and that can get gross dealing with and sometimes need surgery. They're prone to von Willebrand's, which is a blood clotting disorder. Luxating patellas is a really big one for dogs, for poodles. It's when the kneecap luxates in and out of place. It feels really gross when you're doing an exam or if you're restraining a dog for blood and you just feel their knees popping in and out. And I'm like, whoa.
Does it grind and like click?
It doesn't grind, but sometimes it'll click or it'll like, it moves like weird and you can feel it move back in it and the leg pops in and out. I'm like, bleh. I hate that. Another thing that they have issues with or they're prone to is called leg calf Perths, I believe is how it's pronounced. So it's a leg issue where the blood isn't flowing properly throughout the bone, and that's where the bone ends up dying, and they have like issues from that. It's mostly in miniature and toys, not in large breeds, or the standards. And then the standards are more prone to GVD and some of those other issues I mentioned. GVD being gastric volvulus. Why can't I think of the dilated? That's when the stomach
flip
floats,
or the block.
So the flip.
Okay, the flip.
So they're prone to the flip. So I think I typed it wrong because it's gastric dilated volvulus.
Poodle can flip, huh? So do they get the?
Because they can, but they have the steep chest. So they have like the big. You know how Shiloh's chest is? It dips ribs. And then comes up to the abdomen. So they have that.
Yeah, don't you have to get those special like deep rib harnesses, right? They go like way on, like they're way long. Like if you were to harness them.
Yeah. Shiloh in a harness is funny. He doesn't fit well in most
armor.
I know.
Saddle.
And then the recommended testing for the AKA, I wrote AKA, I meant AKC and OFA. So hip evaluations in miniature and standard, as well as the toy. Optho evaluations, so they have a bunch of different eye tests they need, so in all three, because they're prone to eye issues. And this is called the Optogen DNA test, so that's for retinal. It tests the recessive gene for retinal atrophy. So that's another eye issue. That's mainly mini and toys, and then patellas, obviously grading to see if they have luxing patellas, because that's genetic, and mini and toy as well. And then the gold standard additional test that they should do is heart evaluations, so advanced cardiac echocardiograms, thyroid testing, and also there's a test for the sebaceous adenitis. Again, I'm probably butchering that, but assay. It's called assay testing because it's also genetic for those. So that's it. It's put it as elective, but it's gold standard. So when you're looking for a puppy or an older dog, some have grow out puppies that they don't end up keeping, breeders, you should be looking for those who do those testing, including the elective testing, because that's also important, because obviously heart disease is a big thing in poodles. You always see them with murmurs, and it ends up being, congestive heart failure because of those murmurs get worse and worse as they age. They didn't have any rescues listed on their website, so the Poodle Club of America is a good place to continue reading on different breeders as well as finding rescues. They can recommend them from there. But the AKC didn't have any recommendations on rescues there. Yeah, so that's mainly poodles. I think they're pretty good dogs. I would own a poodle before a doodle. Yeah. Before anything.
Okay. I've got lots of doodle clips that are going to make you happy in the sense of you're going to be like, see, I told you that. Neurotic. That's great.
And since I'm on the topic of doodles, I want to just talk about them real quick. Yeah. I'm sure we can make their own.
Yeah, so real quick, poodles, I think it was 5th popular?
7th?
7th?
I think we're on 7.
Oh my gosh.
I know. 6 or 7.
And they were further down the list until recently. And I want to assume it's because they're breeding them for, all the mixed.
I think people realize how smart they are and how versatile. And obviously you got to have a poodle to make a doodle. So
they sound very similar to a border collie, but not a border collie specific, but that, that working smart dog. So it seems like something I could own. You know what I mean? I could see it. I probably wouldn't.
If they didn't have the requirements for the hair, grooming, I think I could keep them. I mean, if I kept one shave, but I feel like it just wouldn't do it justice because I like doing dog shows, and I wouldn't be able to just shave it down. Right. But I love seeing them at dog shows because they have their owners have their own table for their dog. It's just resting on the table waiting to be groomed. They have these ear mitts, they have tail mitts, they have bonnets on. I'm they're living their best lives. They have these special pillows that they lay on too, so their fur doesn't get all scrunched. It's so funny seeing them. But you definitely can tell that they love doing it because it's mentally stimulating. They're waiting, they're learning, they're doing stuff with their owners. I think it's a really fun breed to have.
Yeah, it's like Bailey. Bailey doesn't care necessarily what we're doing as long as her and I are doing something.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I love that.
As long as she's with me and it's fun. Yeah. So.
I feel it. But do you have any more questions about doodles before I hop on or poodles before I hop on to doodles?
No, yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
I know you hate them.
So I don't hate them. Yeah. But
it's not their fault.
It's not the dog's fault. It's never the dog's fault. It's the people who breed the bad ones, and they're a mixed breed. They're a mutt. They're a mutt. They're not purebred. You don't have a purebred doodle. It's a freaking mutt. I get that all the time at the vet. I want to rip my hair out. Like, they're like, I have a purebred F2 golden doodle. I'm like, I type in mutt onto their like account. I'm like, and then they get their, when they check in, they're like, why does it say mutt? I'm like, because that is what you have.
Which is okay.
It is. It's totally fine to have a mutt.
I know you're not coming from a negative standpoint in that sense. Yeah.
I'm just coming because the ones I see are poorly behaved because they're too smart for their own good. So they're being crazy because they're not getting the correct stimulation that they need. And the owners aren't doing them any justice. I want to start off also by saying is they're not hypoallergenic. No matter what person tells you, your doodle is not hypoallergenic because it has the mixture of the breed that they're bred with, fur, and the doodle. Yep. So, obviously, because the doodle, it's so weird because each doodle is going to throw a certain amount at the other breed for, hair. Sometimes you see more doodles that look more like poodles, and you see sometimes doodles that more look like the other breed that they're mixed with.
Well, yeah, anytime I imagine you're
even within the same breed,
it's like a spectrum.
Exactly, and even in the same litter.
Getting a random sort of spot on that spectrum between poodle and X, right?
Exactly.
Like that's essentially sort of throwing a dart at the
exactly. I'm like, you cannot say the puppy you're selling, which is a doodle, is hypoallergenic because it's getting a mix of both parents, regardless if it's more poodle than X, which is super frustrating when people come in and I'm like, you don't have a hypoallergenic dog. And so when your allergies are acting up and you don't realize why, you're like, it's because I'm going to the dog park. It's because I'm going to the vet. I'm like,
no. You could get either literally a dog that doesn't cause you any allergy, or you could get the opposite where
exactly.
It's just like
so no dog, like I said,
and that would never stop, right? So like if we fast forward at 1,000 years, right? If we could time travel, you and I, and look at like doodles 1,000 years from now,
they'd be extinct.
It wouldn't.
My world.
All right, let's go to my world.
Okay.
Would that be a breed or no, because it's still taking two?
So I know
how do you eventually get to a breed, I guess?
So I know there's a person who's working towards standardizing a certain breed of doodle called a bearded retriever, and he's working on trying to make it a legitimate thing of golden doodle, and I think it's like lab.
Okay.
I don't know if it's lab or golden, but he's calling it a bearded retriever. And he's doing like the health testing and stuff like that too, which is nice. But again, he's still health testing and making mutts right now because they're not considered a breed. Doodles are not considered a breed. I'll say it one more time for the people in the back. Doodles are not considered a breed.
Is that red light on?
Yes.
Okay, cool. No, maybe it's the dishwasher. I'm hearing stuff. I don't know. Sorry, I thought it was the camera.
I do hear like a hum, like way back.
Must be a dishwasher then. Okay, good. I thought for a second it was the camera, and I'm like, is it gonna explode next to me? Yeah. So they are a mutt. Yes.
They are a mutt.
You've gone on this rant before too, which is totally fine.
And it sucks because they'll take the intelligence of the poodle and they'll mix it with something that's super neurotic. So like Aussies. So you see Aussie doodles, and they're freaking neurotic as fuck because they need to be working, and you mix the intelligence of that, and it's like putting a genius in a insane asylum almost, in like one of those padded rooms. They go crazy because they're too smart for their own good, and that's not fair to the dog. On top of that, you're getting the fur and the hair mixed together, so you don't know what spectrum you're gonna get of poodle to Aussie, let's say.
There's no way to test that once you have the dog, really, is there?
No.
I mean, you can do like an embarked DNA, but like...
You can do embarking DNA, but it's going to show a poodle and the adult, not adult, but the ex-dog being the parents. It's not going to tell you the fur. Right. I mean, embark does tell you certain furs, but it doesn't tell you, like, is it more hair than fur? Hair. Again, it's just really fine fur.
Gotcha.
And then the issue is that just mixing 2 dogs together does not cancel out health issues of one dog versus the other. You're getting both health issues from both breeds. So
it sounds like maybe a lot of people think of this as
this is a super big thing.
I'm taking like
they're making it
Poodle
healthier.
and X, and I'm getting Y, but in reality, you're not getting Y. You're getting like some.
You're getting X, Y, Z.
Amalgamation, or like, yeah, you're getting
the whole amount.
Yeah, you're not getting a whole different thing. You're getting these 2 things like combined.
Exactly.
I'm explaining this horribly, but like.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
But that's like a big thing because everyone's like, oh, I got a doodle, it's a lot healthier. But in reality, you're getting issues from both poodle and, say, golden retriever. You put those 2 together, you're getting health issues from both. You're not just getting health issues from, nowhere. I mean, they're going to have both issues. And on top of that, you're going to have behavioral issues because, again, they're super smart and not a lot of people can keep up with that mental stimulation need. So that's...
Especially if it's advertised as like not being so like crazy and like
exactly,
you know what I mean, like if it's advertised as like a chill family dog and you get it and it's like
it's not,
it needs everything,
and it's like I see a lot of cockapoos, so Cocker Spaniel and poodles, and they all have heart issues in the long run because Cocker Spaniels are prone to a lot of heart issues, and then like the poodles, it's getting eye issues too, and then Cocker Spaniels are also prone to eye issues, so it's like doubling the eye issues, so you're definitely gonna get eye issues. Yeah. And then
nowadays when you make like a cockapoo, because Cocker Spaniels are kind of small, just thinking about like a standard, would you like artificially inseminate that nowadays?
Probably.
How do you start a breed like that?
Some people are just crazy and
really?
Yeah. People are crazy.
It's so hard to visualize.
I know. It's like, especially if the female is smaller than the male, then you got to worry about like birthing issues and like the size of the puppies, because they're not going to be the correct size. They're going to be bigger than the actual breed. So say you're breeding a Great Dane, exactly. If you don't, like, a lot of dogs need C-sections, and I can't remember the specific word. It's like starts with a D, like dystocia. They get dystocia, which is like birthing issues, and the puppy's stuck in the canal, and they have to go get a C-section, and puppies die that way.
That happened to my sister. Sorry.
Oh, really?
My nephew David. He's 3. He's I don't know, like top, like 98th percentile for heads or whatever. He's got this massive cranium.
He's got a dome piece.
Yeah, he came out at like 10.6 pounds or something. Huge baby. She was pushing for like 4 hours before the doctor finally was like, all right, we'll do a C-section.
Oh my God.
She was pissed. She's like, what?
Ugh. I can't imagine that. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing for dogs. Like, just because the female's smaller does not mean the puppies are going to grow to portion her size. They're going to grow to the mixed breed portion, which is probably going to be a size in between the two. And just... I don't know. It's
like not fair to the dogs.
It's not fair to the dog. Doodles, I don't like them in vet settings because, like I said, they're not trained. They're usually super crazy. They try to bite 90% of the time.
Oh, wait till you! I've got some clips for you.
I can't wait to see them because I know. I'm
gonna be the white doodle I watch. Her and Boston are like best buds.
Yeah.
But she just loves to nip at his neck from behind constantly.
My goodness. Yeah. But yeah, that's my big spiel. I'm sure I'll pop up with other things. But your doodle is not purebred. It's a mutt. It's going to be a mutt with both issues of the parents. And anyone that says that their doodle is registered is lying because it's a mixed breed and no AKC. So the AKC, when you like breed litters, if you try to register a mixed breed litter, they like disown you. And same with the kennel clubs. So if you're breeding, I'm part of the Wampanoag Kennel Club, and in my contract, or not contract, but when I joined, it says I won't breed mixed breed dogs. Otherwise, I'll be terminated from that club. You get terminated from the AKC as well because you're purposely mixed breeding dogs for profit. There's no other reason for doodles other than designer dog profit propaganda. So
yeah, there's not like a purpose.
Exactly. They're doing it for money. 99% of the doodles breeders that you meet are doing it for money. Very little, like I said, are doing the actual health testing, other than like the guy who does the health testing for his bearded collies that he's trying to make a breed, but it may never come to that. You know, if you can't breed two of the same dogs, say he breeds and gets a litter of bearded collies, and he breeds again, gets another litter of bearded collies, and he breeds the two litters together, and they look the same as the parents, all of them, then I think that's when he's going to start be able to be like, okay, this is starting to become a legitimate thing. But you also got to keep in mind, it's going to be a lot of inbreeding. It's going to be a lot of line breeding, which is okay because it's not like direct mother to son or son to daughter or sibling and
just
stuff like that.
Good old Alabama. It's all cousins.
Exactly. I mean, you can. So the thing with line breeding, it's not 100% horrible. I will say it's not 100% horrible because it keeps certain lines safe from genetic issues. So I don't think. So I consider inbreeding
them safe. You said from genetic issues.
I don't want to say safe. It's hard.
Or
protected. Exactly. More protected.
Do dogs
from breeding from outside your lines? Yeah. Obviously, you have to start with a pretty big like line base, not just like one dog, and then breeding from that one dog. You want a couple dogs within that same group, and breeding from like say like a great uncle to a great granddaughter. Not that kind of. I don't want direct inbreeding from like father to daughter, son to mother. Like that's I don't think I'm comfortable with that. But like distant relatives or distant cousins, I think can help. If it's a really good line of dogs with very minimal health issues, I think that can be a really good option. But you do have to introduce fresh blood from different places and making sure they're health tested to make sure your lines as well as someone else's lines are okay. Because you'll see that with a lot of dog breeders. They'll do line breeding, but not direct straight line of, genetics. It's like a cousin, a very distant cousin to a now pup or something like that.
So like with humans, I don't know what the percentage is, but if you mess around with your family member.
Oh, that's weird. Just weird thinking about.
Yeah, the baby will probably come out
weird.
With defects.
I think you sent me a video about one of those too, like one of those documentaries.
Oh yes, soft white underbelly.
And he makes the people make weird noises to communicate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They can't talk.
What? Like not to make. I'm not trying to make fun, but like, so into like a mate. Like wow.
That was what, brother and sister?
Yeah, it's mind opening is I think the word. And does that happen with like the dogs?
So
if you breed
bad breeders, yes.
Yeah.
Bad breeders will do direct relatives.
Yeah. Do dogs have will they get like special needs or like autism type? Like where
they get more genetic issues like hydrocephalus, more like I think they're more prone to issues. I don't know like the specifics because I've never really looked into it because it's not something I would ever consider myself.
Right.
Again, that's not something a backyard breeder do.
Google that. Like
a backyard breeder wouldn't even think about it either. And the thing is, when you buy a puppy pair from like a breeder, which is totally fine. Again, be careful of litter mate syndrome. You got like they don't realize they're brother and sister is where I'm getting at. So you get a male and a female, and they're like, oh, they're brother and sister. They're fine. They're not gonna breed. They will breed because they're animals, and it's instinct to pass on your genes.
Yeah.
So that's just like something to think about. And like rounding back to the bearded collies, if he kept breeding and he'd have to have similar lines to continue to breed a same looking dog, at some point he's going to have to cross those lines of more inbreeding than line breeding, because he wants to produce a breed.
This is so weird. Just think, like, it's so similar but different than, like, humans, and how humans have evolved, and, like, from Neanderthals, and, like, it's just...
Yeah, it's a crazy. It's a lot. I mean, all breeds are technically mutts because we bred them to a point to get a certain breed.
Right? Yeah,
exactly. Like, but the way we break it down...
Is it a matter of, like, how much predictability?
You know, if you breed a golden retriever to a golden retriever, you're going to get a golden retriever out.
Yep.
When you breed a poodle to an X, you don't know where on the spectrum you're going to get. Yeah. And if you bred that same litter again, or the same parents again, you don't know where you're going to get. And if you bred those puppies together, you're not really getting a good, like, output.
What are you doing?
You don't know what you're going to get, no matter what, because it's a mix.
You're just making, like...
And I don't know how the poodle genes play in effect, because there's certain dominant and recessive genes that will stick to some dogs and that they don't stick to others. And when you start outcrossing, you just kind of get a mess almost. I'm still learning. I just started teaching myself genetics.
Oh, so one interesting, right? So the, like, Lawson, the blind dog I watch, he's an Australian Shepherd. Mm-hmm. And he's got the double merle gene. So you breed 2 merles, and there's like a 25% chance that the puppy will come out blind, deaf.
And there's a thing called fatal merle too. So.
And so, like, if you have a
fatal
Aussie
not
doodle,
merle, sorry,
and you aren't sure if it has that, I don't know how the genes work in that mixed case, but, like, what if you have 2 Aussie doodles that you breed together that happen to both have the merle, but you know it's not even merle. You know what I mean? Like,
they can carry merle too.
Right.
I think it's like a co-dominant or it's a double. It's either double recessive or co-dominant. Like, I'm still trying to learn the specifics of, like, the E locus and A locus, S locus, and, like, the genes that play into, like, certain hair, stuff like that. Like, I'm just trying to teach myself that, because I'm curious of, like, the old, I learned back in, like, middle school, the Punnett square, and I'm like, what these get, but I'm, like, learning more specific of, like, the actual fur colors and the hair, and I'm like, I'm just curious. I'm like, well, how does this play effect into things, and how would the probability of what I'm going to get out? So.
Yeah, and then maybe one day you can work with CRISPR. You can start engineering dog genes.
I know. Oh, man.
Cool. Did you want to hop over and
let's
check out some crazy doodle footage?
Some behavior, and we can discuss it.
Yeah, so, and I can scrub, like, through all this. You know, I can rewind. I can whatever. Sorry, it's, like, not the best angle with the monitor.
I can see it fine. Cool. I think it's more angled towards me than you.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. I'm pretty familiar with, like, the footage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here's Boston. Now, Boston he likes to harass Odin. Mm-hmm. Also, I want to preface and say, I'm very comfortable with all these dogs. I know all these dogs. There are certain clips where I would say if it was like
somebody you didn't know, or
like 7 dogs chasing each other. And if it was like if this pile of dogs wasn't my pack right here, and it's like this many dogs,
you'd probably break it up, right?
Yeah, like if it was 7 random dogs playing, chasing, I feel like that's more gonna, like, lead to problems than
exactly.
Like, so I just want to preface with that, like,
you know, these dogs.
Some of the things I would step in way earlier if I wasn't so comfortable. So. Like here, just a quick little clip of Boston. You can see he's just scoping out. He very much likes to just antagonize.
Yeah, he's play bowing. He's being very antagonistic, but in a playful. It's a playful way.
The little the little look back that he had. Like he keeps watching him. He's always
knows
watching
what he's doing.
him,
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Oh, is the audio not working, or is it just really quiet? I don't hear anything. It might just be super quiet. Oh, that's correct. It's probably just super quiet. No, I mean that should. Well, the audio was working a minute ago, wasn't it?
Did it get turned down?
That's all the way up. Oh, I could. That's weird. Let me reopen. Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe it's because this is recording.
Oh.
What's that? Microphone? Oh, that's the mic. Here's the desktop audio.
But it was playing before.
Oh. All right, there we go.
It just needed a minute to think.
Yeah. Sorry, folks. I just got my computer in here, so this is a first time dealio. Dog behavior. There we go. Sweet. He didn't make any noise. Anyway, so here Odin loves sticks. Mm-hmm. Poodle wants stick. She's not sure. And he doesn't do anything too mean. He does give a little like a Odin.
He's like, this is mine.
Say like, hey, this is my stick.
Yeah, this is more like talking, because again, they can't speak words. They express through body language.
He sees it's moving, and he's like, get out of here.
He's like, that's mine. But yeah, that's friendly, and that's like not aggressive or anything.
Yeah. And I mean, you can see even he almost like loses like interest right after he like gets like in her.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care that she's necessarily.
He just wants the stick. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my stick.
He's very possessive with sticks and squeaky balls.
Oh yeah.
Lucas is obsessed with balls. So he's a border jack, border collie, Jack Russell Terrier.
So Jacks being very high energy, very high drive dogs.
Yes.
Borders also being very high drive dogs. So something that stimulates their mind or their focus being the ball. He wants you to nonstop, because that's something that's mentally stimulating to him.
Literally.
Another thing to keep in mind, though, is they can become obsessive. Certain dogs can become obsessive to the point where it's just like all they think about is ball, 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 ball. I had a Doberman growing up like that we rescued in tennis balls.
24/7.
24/7. Yeah. All she wanted was a tennis ball. All she wanted you to do was throw the tennis ball. She would just stare at you, bark at you. She would, yeah.
Yeah, so with tennis balls and toys, usually... So here I was like letting him have it, and he's like, you'll hear him like whimpering, like because he wants
that mental, yeah.
And so he's funny because he's particular, like he'll pick that ball, and if I pick another ball and throw it, he'll watch that ball, and then he's like right back to no, this is the ball.
That's because terriers are smart and border collies are smart. So he's like, this is the ball I want.
Right. So usually though, when I like, he'll get a ball. And if I like to let them like interact with each other. And so if he starts whining or like the group, because Kylie's also here next to him, the cattle dog, and you'll see.
Says this is throw my ball.
Yeah. But so like a lot of times if they do, I don't want them to get all riled up. So I'll just take it and just put it up in a tree. It's like,
take the distractions. Take away the distraction. Take away from the focus. Take the focus off the ball so they can focus on each other or you.
You can't see it, but Kylie's off to his left, and so there's actually more than one dog right now focused on the ball.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't want to like necessarily
cause an issue because if you're not doing it and he's like getting amped up over a ball, it may react into like a certain way.
I don't have any footage of it, but one interesting thing he does, and it's typically when we do something that gets him riled up. So throwing a stick in the ocean, throwing a ball, he gets his legs shake. He gets so amped up.
Oh yeah, the anticipation. Greyhounds do that. They do a chatter with their mouth. They're like so amped up. They're like when they're ready to go race and when they're ready to go chase something, like
they're just ready.
They're ready. They're literally trembling because they're so like amped and ready to go.
So anytime I see him start to like shake like that, I know like, all right, let's actually like, instead of throwing the ball more, like let's actually calm down. Yeah. You know? So he's funny. So you're gonna already know this is Odin kind of defending Boston, but Boston starts it.
Oh yeah,
Boston.
I've seen him instigate. He's an instigator.
He likes to. It must be something where like it's for attention.
He's a terrier.
Like he just wants attention.
It very possibly attention.
I don't know if he's just a little tough guy. Like,
yeah, I mean, any terriers I just consider like very like driven. Like they need to be doing something because they're a working breed technically. Right. I think Boston Terriers were like bred to do mice or something like that. Something stupid. But they're a working breed.
Yeah, and I mean you can see already like with the mouths, like mouths are open. You know, they're like. And Odin's a very mouthy dog. I'm sure you've seen him
they're huskies. I mean, you got to keep each individual breed in mind for when you're looking at videos like this because certain breeds communicate in a different way than other breeds do. Yep. So huskies are mouthy and talkative and loud. And then, like, the doodle, you don't even...
You'll notice by the end of this, she's always with him.
Yeah.
The two of them, Boston and
when I go for walks with you, they're freaking... They are the ones always playing nonstop. Yeah. And then Shiloh had to, pop in and be like, I'm going to hump Boston. I'm like...
And the reason I put the audio is some of the noises they make, you would think...
they're killing each other.
Holy crap. And then when you watch it back, so, like, right here... Do you hear him? That's
like a little Tasmanian devil,
But like, if you really watch, like, I don't even know how much. Like, it didn't look like he even touched him.
Yeah.
At least there. I mean, I don't know about like it was hard to stabilize.
Reading Odin's behavior, it's pretty playful, pretty like.
Like he does get overwhelmed sometimes.
Exactly.
Like I think he got overwhelmed here, and he just kind of gave him that little snip back.
He was telling him to back off. I think. Yeah. But it's not aggressive like a back off.
Right. It's more of like
Yeah, and then I think Elsie's just there to because she's always there with Boston, and then Boston's just Boston.
Obsessed with each other. Here's.
So now she's antagonizing him.
Here's that Poodle.
Yeah.
And she always says she goes back.
Yeah.
And just nips his little neck.
Yeah, she
gives him a little
love bites.
So she's never broken his skin. She never makes him bleed.
Oh yeah, my dogs do the same. They're very neck dogs. I don't know if you've seen Fable or the video of Fable and Cheez-It where Fable is literally dragging Cheez-It around by her neck. Yeah. Some dogs are very oriented to grab by the throat because that's genetic. Right. Certain dogs, hunting breeds, are to grab throats. Mm-hmm. Doodles are hunting breeds, right. Or they were they're in the non-sporting group now. I don't know if I mentioned that. Just because they kind of fell out of...
Doodle, you said?
Not Doodle, Poodle. Poodle. Okay. Poodles were in the hunting
group.
Just want
to make sure you're...
when they were first bred, but they kind of now fallen back to non-sporting. Okay. Just for argument's sake, but they were bred to, retrieve animals. Typically, they grab them by, the neck or, the back. Mm-hmm. So it's genetic for poodles to grab... at certain areas. Same thing with my Borzois. They were bred to grab throats and hold on until the human would come and dispatch either the rabbit or the coyote. So you see that in certain hunting breeds that they were trained to do certain things. So just like herding dogs, they're trained cattle dogs trained to bite at ankles.
Yeah. Healer. They literally call them healers for any reason.
They're going for your heel. Yeah. Collies are literally trained to herd into group, a large amount of animals into groups, and being able to control that group, either via voice or by mouth.
Yep.
So her doing that to him is just kind of more like a playful antagonizing, play with me, like, play with me. Exactly. Here, yeah. And him being
I love
okay,
little,
but not like
he's like, listen stop. To him, he's nuts. And so she just loves to just like, rile
they do it to each other though.
Yeah. And see, she loses kind of interest if he doesn't
want to play,
sort of feedback into her energy.
So she moves on to the next one.
You know what I mean? Like, let's see. Look at him. You can tell he's getting. He's more like, okay, enough. Right. Don't put your paws on me. Yep.
I don't want to play.
Give her a little.
And she tried a couple more times to get him to play.
Right.
Like, this is playful right here too, even though it's like her mouth opening and like barking at him.
It almost looks mean, snarl, but
That's just more her trying to antagonize him to play.
And then, she's just like, all right, you don't want to play? Well, I need to occupy myself with something.
Go chase Odin.
He's moving, So then he comes running back. Now, what's important is not necessarily what's in focus.
Yeah.
But he stalks Odin. He gets down real low.
Yeah.
And he'll walk.
Which one is that?
Boston. Little Boston in the bottom there.
Oh, okay.
And he's staring at him. And he's watching him. Like, see, he's just like, point being.
Because he's being stimulated by the motion.
Right.
Yeah.
He wants to, and what he'll do is, what he really loves to do is elevation.
Mm-hmm.
A big elevation difference. If he can get him
so
on the low ground. Yep. Like, you know how some of the beaches, you gotta go down? He'll take that high ground. And you'll see him hunched down in that hunting crouch.
Yeah.
And you can just see him lining them up from a mile away, just watching.
He's waiting patiently. Yeah.
It's just right. So here is a clip where we're gonna have a lot of dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They're loud. They're chasing. Some of the behavior's not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think there's some like tail munching.
I think it's getting like over like.
So and Banjo does over, like you can see Bailey's, and Bailey did a fake sneeze there, but Bailey's feeling
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
She's overwhelmed by this, and Banjo's showing like very almost dominating behavior by like pulling at her and pulling at their tail, and being kind of relentless.
Right.
And then
he gets like that. He just like.
And the thing is, I always say three's a crowd. Two dogs playing, they can usually work it out. But when a third dog's in there, that's when I get a little nervous because I'm like, that third dog it becomes a gang up, and like that third dog does not always understand like the behavior of what's going on or understand the relationship between the two dogs.
Right.
And it can easily become aggressive, or become fights.
Yeah, you can see right here Odin, the tail, and I always get, hey, no tail, and he kind of knows now, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, Banjo loves to. He's a little extra. He's rough.
Yeah.
He likes to be in charge. He's very anxious and scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see she's just like.
She's kind of over it at this point. She's like, okay, I'm being yanked. I'm being slapped. She's done with it.
So she just told Odin like, no, back off. Now this whole time, Elsie's riding her too.
Yeah.
So like she's getting it from behind, the side, the front. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now this is obviously something like I said earlier where
you know the dogs where you're more comfortable.
Them. I've seen enough times where I know it's probably not going to lead to a fight.
Yeah.
Normally I would knock this off, but I wanted to.
If it was like dogs, you wouldn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Now if this was 4 random dogs.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
Yeah.
We're out of here. And you can see I'm so confused by him a lot, Banjo. Like he's trying to play, but he's just so
aggressive about it.
Like,
not aggressive, like aggressive, like, but like he wants the.
He wants to be in control.
Exactly. He wants the interaction to happen, and he wants to be able to like start it. And you can see with like the booping of her head right here. He's like trying to antagonize her.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Odin and Elsie are also on top of her, and she's overwhelmed.
She's like over it.
But she's good with her emotions, so she's able to handle.
She's very patient, and she's
a non-patient dog would be able to an issue would start. A fight would happen with a non-patient dog, which is why I'm always so like, when you go to dog parks, be very super careful with who you let your dogs play with. On top of, if you don't know the dog, watch very carefully like body reactions, and like, because certain behaviors you may not like see right away, but if you really like focus and watch them, you're like, oh, my dog's getting uncomfortable with this. And like I said, three's a crowd. Three's a crowd. Anytime more than 3 dogs are roughhousing, there's got to be a miscommunication somewhere in the body language, and it always ends up with someone, you know, getting scared and not wanting to play anymore, and they get ganged up on.
Yeah, it happens with dog I watch, Sadie. She's like a pit bull black lab mix. You might have seen my post. I was like looking for behaviorists. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's just she's a great dog.
I met her too when I went out with you guys. Great. She's like the little pity thing, right?
Yeah, she just gets like Banjo.
She gets focused.
She gets a little extra. She's a little rougher than Banjo. She likes to like charge and body slam.
And that's like a totally fine play style. It's just some dogs don't understand that. Other dogs that she doesn't know. So finding like a close group like yours can be really helpful for her learning the proper dog language behavior, on top of her also, you know, learning boundaries by another dog correcting her.
Which Bailey loves to correct. She's funny. But so with Sadie, like if, you know how like I was saying, like Boston loves to line Odin up. He'll chase Odin. And let's say the 2 of them are running. She likes to like insert herself as like the third. Start
and then it gets amped. It gets really amped because she's so excited about this interaction that she wants to be involved in, that it just becomes like
overwhelming.
It becomes overwhelming. It becomes like a clusterfuck almost.
Yeah, and I always remind people too, like, again, with this clip here, with the audio. I don't know how to use this computer when I'm not sitting in front of it. You know, there's a lot of barking. There's a lot of noise, but like that's okay. Again,
barking is fine. It's communication. Barking, growling are okay because that's a warning. Don't yell at your dog for giving a warning because he's letting the other dog know that he's not comfortable or she's not comfortable with the situation.
And I always say too, it's like,
if that dog doesn't back off, that's when you step in and you put yourself between your dog and the other dog and be like, hey, your dog's kind of pushing my dog to the limit. You know, you have to be able to speak for your dog. Again, easier said than done with strangers. I struggled with that myself. As I told you this last, like the whatever day I went to the dog park.
And all the,
the Scottish Deerhounds. It sucks because you know when, like, if you know the owner and they're friendly, but they're not picking up on the cues that their dogs give off. It can be very hard to be the person who tells the other owner, hey, your dog's getting a little too much for my dog. And I understand that because I struggle with that. I have social anxiety, so I struggle with talking to people in general. So it just, you at that point you have to, you know, like I said before, kind of, you know, stand up for your dog, be the person who speaks words for your dog because your dog can't speak words. So just being like, hey, your dog's being a little too dominating. Hey, my dog's getting a little overwhelmed by this. Let's just, you know, split up a little bit, give my dog a break. Maybe we can reconvene on the next lap or something if you want to try to continue playing, stuff like that. You want to be able to speak for your dog.
Yeah, and another thing on the noise too is I always try to make the analogy of like, this is their happy place, their playground. You don't bring your 5-year-old, 4-year-old to the playground and be like, all right, we're going to play, but shh, no yelling with the other children.
If you go to a playground, you hear kids screaming all the time, and that's totally fine. I'm like, let your dog speak because that's what I'm going to be able to tell when it's too much or when it's not too much.
Exactly. And it helps not only you, but me to,
also the other dogs. You know, some other dogs are very good at picking up when enough is enough. And it's important not to shush your dog or correct your dog when they're barking, when they're growling, when they're whining, because, you know, you can pick up those cues and realize, you know, it's too much. The dog needs a break. Or, oh, it's fine, keep playing. They're just roughhousing. You know, some dogs are loud talkers when they bark. Jetta never
Every dog in my group.
Jetta never used to be a loud player.
No.
But now she is. And I got to tell people, I'm like, she's just playing loud. She's not aggressive. I feel bad for people when they come up and like, they're just playing. She's just loud. And I'm like, I understand.
I try
Don't worry,
I
understand.
To say like, hey, if you get uncomfortable, or if you know, whatever, like, just let me know. I'll you know,
keep moving.
You know, I always try to like let people know, like, look, I'm not just gonna let them
do whatever they want.
Kill your dog, like. And then of course, little Boston has to. Who's he looking at? Elsie.
Yep. Gotta go in there.
Gotta go get her. And then this is more of them coming back. Where I think, they're Shoshana. I just want to say real quick, all this barking for the most part is real high pitched shit. Is Shoshana. She's just loud. Like those.
I've never really seen her get into play too, which is funny. Whenever she's with her owner, she's so focused on him, because that's the breed. She's like always ready for whatever he's ready to say to her, or throw the ball.
Brother there, the husky, there's Morty.
Yep.
But here
I run into them at the dog park at the most random hours. I'm like, were you here earlier?
In summer, she's always on a leash because she's fresh. But here, Banjo and Odin kind of like, again, overdo it with like Bailey.
Yeah.
And again, that's just Shoshana. See, so he's humping.
Yep.
Buggy, no humping.
And then he gets aggravated at something Odin does.
Yeah. Again, the humping is like a dominance thing. So he's trying to be like, Bailey, I'm top dog here. Yep. Obviously, he's not. Bailey's the queen. Yep. But that's more like a dominance thing, being like, hey, I'm the boss here.
Yep.
And her kind of, you know, fighting back a little, be like, you're not.
Yeah, she's very patient.
She's very patient.
That's why when she does start to kick the crap out of a dog, I know it's like, oh, man.
And I think Odin doesn't understand what's happening here, so he's just kind of, you know, jumping in thinking it's play.
Yep.
And then that's Morty.
So Odin just ripped out some of her fur. He's spitting out her fur, her poor tail.
Yeah.
There he goes with the hump. Yeah.
Yep.
But she handles it.
She handles being humped very well. Some dogs spin.
No, this could go so south if it was.
If you didn't know these dogs. That's why whenever I see Shiloh, because he does it sometimes.
And I'm not condoning that. I don't want to sound like I'm saying like it's okay that they hump. Like, no, I don't want that.
No, because that can lead to fights.
Yeah,
too.
I just wanted to like.
Because it's usually a dominance thing, and Shiloh is super submissive, but he still tries to hump every once in a while. It's certain dogs that are there. Oh yeah. And he does it to other dogs, and I just go over and grab him. Like, let's keep moving. That's not okay.
So what did Odin do? Oh, Odin just...
Oh, yeah. He's trying to get him to play, too. Yeah. He's like, play with me. Don't focus on her.
He did a double take.
Yeah.
Banjo, he's like, who is it, huh? Oh, it's Odin?
Meanwhile, he's got the ball in his mouth, too.
Which is... Most of the time, it's his, like, pacifier, Banjo.
Yeah.
You hear the duckies, Panda?
Oh, Panda.
I love little Panda. Yeah, they're best friends, too. They've known each other since they were puppies.
Bunch of geeses.
Goose.
The panda.
So here's just, like, them just being goofy, quiet, having a fun time. Like, nothing.
That's all play.
You know, just happy pups.
Hey, Bookie.
Get ready for a loud doodle. Who thinks she's a herding dog.
So usually when I see that, I think frustration because she can't keep up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's like aggravated that, she's too slow.
Yeah.
There's Summer on the leash.
Poor girl.
I know.
But yeah, usually when they can't keep up and you start hearing barking, I think it's usually more mental frustration.
Right.
That she can't keep up and, you know, be in that little...
like, fun pack.
Yeah.
Yep.
But again, nothing really usually aggressive about it. Mm-hmm. It's more just frustration on themselves that they're trying to be, like, in that little... And she just can't keep up.
yeah, I mean, it's like you ever race your friends and
yeah,
you know, I mean, like, yeah, people do this type. It's interesting because, like, some of this behavior is also so us.
Exactly.
We're animals.
We're animals like, too, you know.
It's so relatable.
I think he knows Panda's an Aussie.
Oh, he's blind. That's the blind double Merle.
Yeah.
So this is cool because he tries to be.
Because he gets very excited whenever Panda
He tries to like
Panda.
herd and.
He
doesn't know where he's going.
This, like,
it's just genetic instincts that he has to like try to herd.
Being blind.
He's trying his best.
Yeah, so he goes in
A+ for effort.
So Boston is just went flying by him and he's all.
I feel like she just kind of brings it out of him a bit more.
He definitely is like
she's just
feeling like the wind difference of when a dog runs by and like.
They're so loud.
It's fine.
He went from no sound to.
Hey, blind dog's gonna play too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's feeling like the vibrations of them going by and the air of the wind pushing by because I know he's deaf.
Get out of here.
No, he's not deaf.
He's not deaf?
Nope, just blind.
Okay, then he's hearing them run.
It all.
He hears them run by and he's getting like stimulated from it. And he wants to do, what's natural for him, what's been bred into their breed for hundreds and hundreds of years.
And that's the moments Jane says she wishes she could just find the breeder and like kill him because he's a result of greedy breeding.
Exactly.
And it's like, look at him trying, and it.
I know. That instinct is in there, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it isn't stopping him from like
living his best life. Yeah. He's trying. Every animal is just trying to live to the best of their ability.
Like she's done agility with him.
Oh yeah.
And like he's smart. He picks it up. He's an Aussie.
Oh yeah.
He just can't see.
They can pick up certain things really. It's another smart breed that they can pick up. That's why I use Aussies, because they can become neurotic when they're not properly exercised and have enough mental stimulation.
Drink a Red Bull and then like lock yourself in your bedroom with no electronic devices.
Nothing.
Just empty walls. You're gonna go nuts. Like
exactly. So he's picking up on like the vibrations, the sounds, and trying to, to the best of his ability, try to do what his breed is bred to do.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was saying in that, like, Panda brings that out of him a lot. And I think it's that similar, like, she's got the similar, like, bounciness and barkiness, like, because she's an Aussie. And so, like, I think he picks up on that and he gets so...
amped up.
I just love it. It's just him being happy.
Get out of here.
Here, look. See? the neurotic doodle, like... She's nuts.
Bubba, where are they?
Sorry.
She's like, play with me, play with me, play with me, play with me. Annoying kid at the, on the way to the, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? But play with me, play with me, play with me. His little sweater. That's cute. And then you can see Panda kind of trying to antagonize the thing too. She's not directly involved in it, but she's stimulated by their movements to try to... Yeah, it's also like a herding thing, you know, trying to bark at them to control their movements.
And so here's a Vizsla that I don't know. So I just was like, all right.
I think I've seen him before.
Random dog I don't know that's interacting.
You can kind of see the hackles up a little because he's a little cautious.
Yep.
Again, hackles do not always mean immediately aggressive or anything. He was pretty cautious. Because he doesn't know your group. He doesn't know these dogs. So he's kind of interacting, feeling them out.
Yep.
I'm assuming he ran off after that.
Yeah, they kept walking. Yeah. Again, these three are just...
Yep. The main two being Boston and Elsie, and then Panda kind of being her breed.
Yep.
Barking and trying to control the whole thing.
Yeah, she kind of... Elsie usually tries to focus on Boston. And Panda seems to come in and bounce between the two and get both of their focus. And, like, she tries to, You
can see her nipping at her a little bit. Again, nothing aggressive about that because that's, her breed. They're not meant to break skin, but they're meant to, like, nip and bite.
Yeah. So Odin's, here's Lou. I couldn't hear it. I muted it too loud. So the border jack, he freaking howls like you wouldn't believe. So Odin's actually half German Shepherd. So he does have some... Again, I'm not very knowledgeable, but like I don't know how stocky huskies are. They probably are. They're very wolf-like, but like I just see so much German Shepherd in him.
Yeah, and his personality.
It's just funny. Yeah. So he's obsessed with Bailey. And little Lucas, he's very loud. You'll hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always love to just play with Bailey.
Yeah, that's them.
Like, you'll notice they don't... Odin and Elsie don't play, but they'll both try to play with Bailey. It's just it's just interesting. I don't know what it is about her.
Yeah, and I think...
it's the fact she is the alpha, because she is. And
then Louis is just kind of focusing in on the stimulation of the movement because he's a terrier.
Yep.
And the herding part of him probably wants to herd and freaking attack at the same time, but it's like...
Yeah.
Not like attack, but he wants to be like in control of the situation. He wants to be the third. The three's a crowd part.
Yeah, and you can hear him.
He's trying to control everything. Yeah.
You know.
He's trying to herd while trying to be in the middle of it.
And here's Bailey getting some payback on Odin, like you said, how some dogs like to do that pulling.
Yep.
And Bailey doesn't give Odin an inch.
Yeah.
I know this looks awful. This looks so awful.
But it's all play.
I know.
It's not getting aggressive. It's not breaking
Odin
skin.
loves to push boundaries, and Bailey's really the only dog I know that like keeps him in check. Yeah. Where if he pulls her tail, she'll, give him not hurt him, but tell him.
Yeah, tell him that's when enough is enough.
Yeah.
So again, no real aggression here. It's just more overstimulation for Louis because it's the movement for the terrier, but also the wanting to be in control from the collie herder in him.
It's a tough mix.
It is. He got the shit end of the stick.
Elsie's doing what Bailey's doing to Odin.
Yeah, Elsie's just trying to be in the middle, trying to get the attention, and then you can see Panda running in circles, trying to herd, keep him all in line, and then Bailey playing and telling Odin enough's enough, and Odin's just taking it.
She's like his mom sometimes. I feel like she just has to tell him no, look, you're big, you're an idiot, you're a goofball. But
none of this is aggressive. This is good, and you can keep seeing. Panda keeps circling because she's trying to keep everyone within her limits and actually trying to herd them.
Yeah, because if so, for instance, in that clip of where Bailey was just grabbing Odin's skirt, if at any point he did feel his body change, he would probably yelp. You'd see him.
You would hear the yelp, and you see the immediate release as they learn from puppies. So that's why it's super important not to separate puppies earlier than 8 weeks because they learn from each other. If you bite too hard, the sibling yelps and you're like, oh, that's not okay. It's the same thing when you're teaching them not to bite you. When they're being a puppy, you make noise, a high-pitched noise like you're hurt, and they typically immediately release, and they're very confused, concerned about what's happening. It's just kind of teaching them, that yelp isn't always a good thing.
Right.
Obviously, if you separate them too early, they're not going to understand that, especially if you don't teach those boundaries.
So, in this case, there wasn't any of that. So, I kind of, from a distance, I can go, all right, it's okay at the moment, Granted, it can always progress.
Yeah, but
that's why you always got to keep watching them.
Exactly. It's never just set your dog loose and hope for the best.
They're goofballs. Yeah, and Elsie always needs to be involved with everything. Anything that's happening.
Boston just took her down there for a second, too. Or Panda. I didn't see who. Oh, there's poor Boston, innocent, and I just blamed him.
Here's probably one of the louder dogs. Kylie. I don't think I have any loud clips over here, but she is loud. The cattle dog.
Friend?
She's just get that yip.
She's like, intruder.
Oh. So here's a dog that's not pack member. Funnily enough, it's the lady's dog who you don't have the rights to use my dog's picture. So I doubt she'll watch this, but it's just funny that it's that dog from the euthanasia. So Panda gives the, hey, I see something.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to see how they act with a non-pack member. This was good for behavior.
And then she goes, she checks it out. She waits, sees Wally. Wally's older than her.
Yeah. Wally's probably just like, because he's a doodle, he probably doesn't even know any better. Anyway.
Yeah.
And she's just being kind of more protective, warning the other dog kind of, you know, hey, I don't know you. And then Wally's like, okay, I'm going to go say hi.
Yeah. And this is just them being goofy.
Yeah, this is play.
They're cute together. I love them. So their families actually know each other. Their
so
children
cute.
are like the same age.
Yeah.
It's like they
hang out all the time. Oh,
Willow. You know Willow? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I see her at the dog park all the time. We follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah. And so again, non-pack member, not really having any issues.
Yeah. She's pretty chill personality too, which is nice.
And here, look at him doing the
stock, yeah. That's a German Shepherd thing for sure. Because I don't know if you've seen Kona or Lonnie do it, but they both do it too.
Like stalk each other.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Shiloh does it really cool. He crouches real low and starts crawling.
Yeah, he must be cool looking.
I think I have one video once, like when he was like a younger dog, like once. I haven't gotten a video of him. He still does it, but it's from behind. I'm not. He's far ahead, and I'm way behind. So it's hard to get like a side-by-side, but I'll tag you in the video of him stalking another dog.
Scruff, and he loves it too. It's funny. Look at
So it's just them arm wrestling, essentially.
Yeah, and grabbing a scruff is kind of like almost like a dominance thing, like a motherly thing to do, because that's exactly what mom would do if the puppy was misbehaving. They'd grab at the scruff.
Yeah.
Not saying that humans should do it.
And he kind of blindsides her. If you notice, he'll come run up behind her. And so I think she's just like, okay, enough.
Enough, yeah.
Look at him. He's such a goof. I love this dog so much.
He's definitely a good boy.
Yeah. I just love the way they move, too, in the slow-mo. Like,
yeah, I love... these are really good clips.
She's just up in the trees, not even...
And she wasn't even prepared, and he comes out of nowhere. So she's trying to correct him, be like, hey, and, you know, you're being a little pest. But it's like a friendly way.
Yeah, they've bonded very...
Yeah.
They're rough, and they make a lot of noise, and like that, but like...
Yeah, she's like...
They love each other. I don't know.
She's like, you're being a bad boy.
Yeah. Why did you do that? Oh, here comes these crazies.
I grab Shiloh by the scruff all the time, but certain dogs you can't do that with because it can... Reactive and defensive, and some dogs don't understand why you're doing it because you're a whole different species.
Right.
So that can definitely ruin bonds if you're not careful.
No humping. Hey,
Lucas trying to hump. Again, just trying to assert like himself. This is just them. This is what I like. Quiet, and they're just sniffing. And, you know, this is like typically what I like to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, the humping, you know, again, it's never because they're wanting to do it.
It's just like a dominance thing.
Yeah.
He's
so
like,
in this, it's interesting. So in this,
he's overstimulated, I think, by this. Like, he's like, I want to be involved, but I don't know how to be involved.
Right.
And this movement itself is stimulating because movement to a terrier is like, oh my God, this is the best thing in the world. They don't
chase.
They gotta chase, but it's not something he can chase. So he's got to release this like overexcitement somehow.
Energy.
So he's taking it by humping, being like, I'm in charge. This is the best thing. You know.
Which he does a lot. He's my really biggest humper.
Your humpy boy.
My only humpy. Yeah, remember with Crumb?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
with
a
Crumb.
lot of dogs that like come up to like I'd say that's my biggest issue. When I meet like stranger dogs, it's not like oh they're gonna kill him. No, Lucas might hump him. Like it's never. And
that's like not the worst thing. It's just some dogs are more like
some dogs tell him right off.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you'll hear him like tail up, and he'll just kind of walk back to me with the hackles and the tail up. Like he's all let me hump him. Like, you know. So just he's the humpy boy.
I should get a video of my coworker's dog is very dog selective. Very dog selective. And she brought him out today while I had my two Zoes out, and my coworker's dog, Chip, who...
That's a cute name.
Chippy, yeah. He gets along very well with my dogs, And Chip also gets very along well with, his name is Donnie, for my coworker's dog. The Donnie is the super dog selective dog. My dogs are very good with those type of dogs. They're very laid back. Exactly. I mean, Shiloh tried to hump him the whole time, but Donnie told him.
But yeah, your guys are very good about giving space.
Exactly. Fable doesn't always understand sometimes, so I get a little nervous because I'm like, she's a puppy. She's still trying to be submissive and like show her face to the other dog. Like you'll see her like come up and like turn her head to the side and try to like lick the other dog's face. That's super submissive. Yeah. But that other dog, some dogs don't like that, and they'll take advantage of that. But today, when we had all three of the dogs out, Donnie had his hackles up the whole time, but he played very well. And even though Shiloh was trying to hump him every once in a while, but I knew when to take Shiloh away, just to give Donnie some space to continue playing with Chip, and Fable just kind of was, jumping in and out, grabbing either Chip's neck or Donnie's neck, because, again, like I said, she's a neck grabber. It's very instinctual for her breed, but she doesn't mean anything by it. So
some people look at that and think like, oh, they're trying to hurt each other.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just play.
Oh, yeah. I think I have a video that I just recently took of Cheez-It and Fable, because Cheez-It just rolls over and lets Fable drag her around.
So funny.
I'm like,
she got like,
Cheez-It, get up and fight.
I know, she's got the biggest mouth, the biggest teeth she could eat, and she's like a shark.
Yeah.
She's just this little passive.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm like, she can be intense with like new dogs, but the dog she knows, she's like stupid. She's just stupid.
Yeah, like Bailey's very patient. So like that day at your house, like Cheez-It was new, and you could see Bailey wasn't.
Yeah, she's very and she, like I said, Cheez-It comes on strong. She comes, she wants to know if she's clingy. Up here. She's very clingy. She doesn't know this one, so she's like very like, let me see you. Let me inspect every little thing you do, and obviously Bailey got overwhelmed from that, and that's when they ended up scrambling with each other. Words coming together. Disagreement.
Squabble.
There we go. That's a good one. That's a good squabble. But like I said, Cheez-It's intense. That's why I don't bring her to the dog park, because she can lead to fights easily, even though she doesn't mean to. She's just very intense on seeing dogs and the movement, because she's hard terrier too.
That's why I wanted to find this behaviorist / get help with Sadie, is because I feel it's the same way.
And it's
when
terriers.
She inserts herself with Odin in Boston, it's not that she's trying to fight Odin. It's just that she might overwhelm the other dogs.
Exactly.
And that'll turn it into,
And that's exactly what happened with Cheez-It and Bailey, is that Cheez-It is very overwhelming. And I love her to death, but she's a very overwhelming dog. So she wouldn't be a good candidate for a dog park, because she overwhelms dogs very easily, because she's so intense and very like, I want to know what little thing you're doing. I want to, be a part of it, and I want to be up your butt or up your face. And not a lot of dogs like that. Yep. The patience only wears so long, like it wears thin.
Is she similar to like Elsie on Boston, but just like with sort of just any dog? Is that where you're?
I think so.
Like with Elsie, she's just always Boston.
I think so. And the thing is she got along fine with Valley. I did introductions with Valley between the gate first, to let her like kind of be like, okay, this is a new dog. And I got Valley.
Not a chew toy.
Exactly.
Tiny little.
I'm like, and Valley freaking dominated her. She's like ripping at her legs. Like she was like a little like piranha to Cheez-It. And Cheez-It loved it, because she's, that type of dog.
Right.
But she can be very intense when first meeting new dogs, and it comes off strong. She comes off too strong for certain dogs. So she's like a type of dog that I would have to do slow intros with, regardless. Like she didn't meet Fable until like the third or fourth time I brought her over through like the gate a couple of times. Like I let them sniff each other. I let her watch. Fable would run along the fence, like just to, because she wanted to be with Shiloh. and I let her like see how Shiloh interacted with her through the fence and vice versa. And I, built her up so she wouldn't have to feel the need to be constantly like defensive or overwhelming and like in her face. And now they're like best friends. Like Fable loves to go over. Anytime I say, who wants to see Cheesy, they're all like so excited. They get like, they run to my car and they're like, let's go see Cheez-It.
I did that with gerbils once.
Oh, really?
Fun little experiment. Not experiment, but I had one gerbil and then I wanted to get it a buddy. Mm-hmm. So I got another gerbil from a different place, like a couple months later. Mm-hmm. So what I did is had the cage
next to each other,
split in the middle, so that they can, one's on the left, one's on the right. Mm-hmm. They can't get to each other, they can't hurt each other,
but they can smell each other and
then I'd swap them every 12 hours. Mm-hmm. That one's now in his bedding, and just slowly. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the 2 chinchillas I had, because I got them separately.
Yeah, and that's super important for like rodents, because especially if they're males, they'll kill each other. They'll kill each other. Yeah. You gotta do things slowly with them.
And so like to be able to take a chinchilla or a gerbil or a rat and like literally get them to be friends, I just felt so. Yeah. I don't know. I was only a teenager and it was just like, oh my god, I did it. Yeah. Like that was my first.
Rats are a little easier because they're a little like more open and friendly, like laid back. Males tend to be very laid back. I think introducing more rats to my male rats were easier than introducing new females to my female rats. Again, males and females are just kind of different. Yeah. For rats, at least. I personally love rats. But back to this.
Yeah, just more mud play. These two just goofing around. That low tide it stinks.
I try to avoid it at all costs.
But they love it.
They do love it.
It keeps them cool.
I like when the actual dunes growing during like we're in that corner. Jetta loves doing zoomies through it, and Shiloh will chase her, and it's so cute. Fable hasn't experienced it yet, but
you mean like when the grass is tall?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll have to find it and send it to you later. Back when I used to do drone footage, I have a clip where I had the drone.
Oh, that would be so
right
cool.
Right above the grass, tall grass, and they're chasing it, and I got this view. Oh, it's amazing.
You have to send me that.
It's beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah. Again, more of them. So, like, again, when I told you I don't deal with a whole lot of, like, damage. So here it's rowdy, right?
Yeah.
Loud.
But I think it's more just loud rather than, like...
Look at them go.
And you can see Louis getting very, like, excited.
Yep.
And,
he'd love, like, fast cat, like, lure chasing.
Oh, yeah.
Non-pack member. Let's see.
I don't know. I don't know this dog, but...
I'm mainly watching Lou and Odin. I can see Odin's posturing a little. But
he kind of picked his head up. I thought he was... Sometimes Odin will place his head, over another dog to say, like...
Yeah.
I'm literally above
taller,
you.
Yeah, I'm bigger than you.
And I thought he was going to do it there, but he, like, didn't. And Lou's kind of like, I'll hump you. Yeah, fine, I won't hump you.
And that's more like just watch where you're going.
Yep. And then he recorrects.
He's like, stop.
Yeah, you got me once, you're coming to do it again. And then look, he kind of separated himself. He knew, let me just get away.
Get a little space, yeah.
So he gets bumped.
Yep.
He didn't hurt anyone. He just,
He said his words.
Yep. And he said them to Panda, and now he's watching Elsie. And he sees she's coming and not paying attention. And he's saying, hey, watch where you're going, lady.
Yep.
So, yeah, like I was saying, like, I don't have a lot of, like, bad situations I deal with.
I think
because I know them.
Exactly. I think you're gonna get a lot of bad situations if you like recorded other people's dogs.
Yeah.
Interacting with other people's dogs.
Right. Yeah.
So
on a Saturday.
Like strangers, yeah.
Go on a Saturday. I'm sure you'll find plenty.
Oh, I should, yeah. I just love watching the three of them. Oh, this one's cool. This one's good.
That's Banjo, right?
Banjo, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Summer, off leash. You can see he's not liking her near it.
No, he's being defensive of the ball.
Yep.
Not wanting to share.
You can hear he's whining. He wants that
He wants you to focus on it. Yeah.
He gets very fixated.
Yep.
Now you watch though, he actually doesn't make any contact with her. It's real interesting.
But he warns her.
He clicks the teeth.
He's like, nope.
Shows the teeth.
He corrects her. He's like, this is not okay. Yep. This is mine.
You know, right there. Look, he could have, if he wanted to, he could have probably bit her and like actually.
He could have made some contact.
Where was that?
But that was a warning. Which is totally fine. Dogs should be able to warn other dogs when they're too much.
Right. Like, yeah, right there. You know, you can tell. If you just watch his mouth, he's funny. The teeth clacking. But there's no real contact.
No.
I just find it... Because he could have.
Oh, he definitely could have.
Because she's still she's almost frozen. She didn't know what to do, almost. So...
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard to... It's hard, like, trying to... I don't think he's a bad dog. He's got some issues.
He's his breed.
Yeah. And, like... I don't know. I don't even know what I was going to say, but I just... Some of the things he does make me...
Where you paused is just kind of funny how they look.
Odin.
Yeah.
So Kylie wants the ball that Lucas has. So Lucas is standing over a ball. And again, I told you, she's the loudest. This yip will pierce your soul. More just Goofy play in the mud.
Yeah.
Nothing like, you know, them just being loudmouths. Puddle. They love the puddle. Kylie yelled at Wally. She just gave up. Oh, this. I wanted to talk about this for a second. How important is what she's doing right now? A lot of people I see, come on, no time to sniff. Let's, like, should I let them?
Yes.
Or should I not let them?
I think it's important to let them sniff because they're smelling, like, the energy that the other dog is giving off. Even if it's just, like, it's old pee, they're just smelling the energy of that pee almost because they can, the pheromones, they communicate through scent glands when they pee. Even fresh pee. Like, you'll see Shiloh go up to wherever someone peed and, like, lick it. I'm like, what? That's so gross. But he's, like, he's pretty much tasting, like, the energy, the pheromones. Is this, like, a friendly, urination? Is this, like, territory type marking type?
I love when sometimes they'll pee.
Breeding.
And they'll pee right over it.
Oh, yeah.
And the third one will pee right over that.
Oh, my God. He's just started recently because I think Fable's maturing more. Fable will go to pee first, and then he'll go and try to pee while she's still peeing, but he'll pee on her.
Yeah.
Because she's still peeing, and I'm wiping urine off of her. I'm like, Shiloh, I'm gonna kill you.
Eden Marie, she pees on top of poops.
That's funny.
Not even a fresh one. She'll come across one and just be like, okay, she lifts her little leg.
Yeah.
And
Again, the same thing. They have glands when they go to the bathroom that they can smell. You always see dogs smell poop because they're smelling the glands, the pheromones that they're releasing, and like just like the smell, the overall smell of it, you know, can tell them a lot. So when you see dogs smell poop and they're like
that's
kind
really
of dripping from their nose
you
too.
know, that's way more of their eyes than us.
Exactly.
You know?
Their nose is their
how
eyes.
They see the world.
Exactly, and then how they communicate too, which is really weird to think about because they're communicating through urine and shit. You know, but
I know to us that's such a like
weird thing. I know. I'm gonna go sniff someone's pee real quick.
I just like that clip because I always let them.
Always let them sniff.
You know, sniff.
Fable takes her time, so sometimes I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Because I think she picked up from Shiloh, because Shiloh is a male and he's intact. So he's going to sniff, he's got to pee, he's going to lick, he's going to be gross intact boy things.
He's a boy. Yeah.
And I think she just picked it up from Shiloh she just sniffs for like prolonged times. I'm like, it's been 5 minutes, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's totally fine, but like let them get that sniffing because they're picking up on the energy of like that urine, that feces. Like it's this something like.
It's also mental stimulation.
Exactly.
You know? Like, if I were to compare, let's say, two even just neighborhood walks, if I was to take Bailey and quickly walk around the block and not let her sniff. Versus walk around the block and let her sniff everything, I guarantee you she's gonna be way more tired.
Oh yeah, because she's using her brain to think.
Yep.
You know, what is this other dog trying to communicate to me? What is this trying to, say to me? So I believe sniffing is good. Obviously, if you're trying to focus on the walk, let them sniff, but, don't rush them. Let them get the sniff in, let them understand, and then just keep moving. Yeah. Don't yank them right the moment they try to stop.
I know I heard some Kylie coming up. Yeah, so Kylie scares a lot of people, and the reason I said she's the loudest dog is because
she's a cattle dog, too.
Yeah, she's got that yip.
Yeah.
So when she's excited and wants to play, she'll yip, but a lot of people take it the wrong way. So many people, I walk by and hear, whoa, or like, hey, be nice. And it's just like, talk to my dog. I never say that, but it's like,
you want to say
they just don't know, so I just walk by.
It's the same thing with Kona, my grandmother's German Shepherd. She's never broken skin, but she is loud, and she will tell you what's up real quick. And it's the same thing to other dogs. She'll go and like growl at them and like lunge at them, but she's not like making contact with them. She's just telling them, I'm the boss. Yeah. She's an alpha bitch. Yeah. Let me tell you.
Maybe, huh?
So you'll hear her.
Yep.
Right here.
I wants to chase.
And she did the little play sneeze there too. But so many people, just that little yip, it sends so many people running. It's bizarre.
She's not being aggressive, but she's not like
she's literally play bowing.
Yeah. I find this more like
the doodle's a little unsure.
Yeah.
I assume it's a doodle. I don't know what
it's a doodle. That's a freaking doodle.
He's a little like, okay, I don't know you. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I think he's more understanding the context, because he may not be used to dogs barking at him and running at him.
It's hard to tell too.
And she's like almost charging at him, but it's not like aggressive. It's more like the play type.
Yep.
But again, if he's misreading the situation, he looks unsure. Yep. Which is probably why he ran off. But again, nothing she did was really aggressive. If she wanted to bite him, she would bite him.
Yeah. And a lot of dogs too will like come back like later in that, like he kept coming back. He was doing the thing
once he realizes like, oh, she didn't try to bite me.
Kind of runs away. But like the owner was like, come on, dude, I don't want you. And it's just like, let them interact. Like,
I know, that's why they're here.
If you don't let them interact and like even make mistakes, or
that's
like,
how they
you're
learn.
Not teaching,
exactly.
The only way you learn is really through mistakes.
Exactly. You never learn when you're being too much if you're not told.
Right.
So like I let Shiloh get told when he tries to be a humpy boy, and I'm like, he warned you. Yeah,
don't let him get killed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, let that dog stand up for itself a little bit.
Exactly.
Let him make that mistake.
Obviously, if that dog's being letting it happen, I'm gonna go correct Shiloh myself. But if that dog is giving Shiloh warnings, Shiloh usually picks up on that, and he's like, okay, man, okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
And it's funny, it's always males. I'm like, unless it's a female, when Lonnie, before she was spayed, she was 2 weeks post heat, and I brought him to my grandmother's. I didn't know she just got heat, and ever since then he's been like obsessed with trying to hump her, and I'm like,
he hasn't forgotten.
He every time he sees her, and now that she's been spayed for like a couple months now, which is good. I let him see her a couple weeks post spay. I probably should have waited a little longer. He didn't even he was looking for like the old her almost. We went into the yard, and he was like sniffing, and he was like looking, and she's right in front of them. Eventually he was like, oh, this is Lonnie. Oh, and then he tried to hump her like once or twice.
Because like the hormones change?
The hormones. Huh. He's not smelling the hormones on her.
That's crazy.
So I had to be super careful, because I have intact male and intact female. And so once Fable is getting close to getting
that's gotta be.
She's gonna be she's gonna be at my grandmother's.
Yeah.
That's what I made plans for, is when she goes into heat and post heat, she's gonna be at my grandmother's, because Appa and Arlo, you met them, the crazy German Shepherds. They're both intact.
Okay.
Mookie's the only neutered male in that house. So 3 intact males in heat Fable, that would just be fights.
I've heard that like they'll jump fences, they'll dig under fences, rip through wall, like they wanna get to that.
So Kona's mom, Isabel, which was my dad bred his German Shepherds, and that's how we have Kona. A not German Shepherd, was it a Rottweiler? Jumped over the 6-foot fence, broke through the door, literally broke through the glass door, got into the house, and when he got home, that thing took off. He's like, I don't even care where it's going. I don't care. Like, she looked disheveled. She had slobber all over her. And I think that was like our second heat, but nothing came of it, thankfully. But
yeah, they'll do anything to.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
They smell the hormones, and males. That's when you gotta be so careful. Is males will take off on you especially if they're intact. Even if that's why I'm like, don't bring your intact female to a dog park, because that's when hormones are flowing. Males are going to be more on edge. They're going to more likely want to try to fight. Yep. Even the female, they'll try to attack the female because other males are like there, and it's a clusterfuck. So,
yeah. And all of a sudden you get all these, crazy.
It's not a fun time. So
here's Boston being a nudge. As usual with Odin. So, Banjo too. So right now Odin doesn't like this because he's getting... Again, 2v1.
2-on-1.
You can see little Boston he is so...
Oh, yeah.
Didn't touch him, but tried to.
He tried.
Oh, all right.
I remember this, yep.
This one's tough. Not tough, but when you... All right. I'll just let it rip. You can listen to it, and then we'll watch the slow-mo one.
Bailey, Eden.
Bailey, get off!
That's Eden. Bailey. Making the noise. Now, neither of them had any blood, scabs. It's definitely the more controversial one.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I swear I thought Bailey started it and was trying to like kill her. That was my initial... Oh my God.
Yeah.
But when I watched it back, Bailey's literally trying to get away.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, okay, stop.
So something's triggered Eden.
Yeah, and that I don't know. I don't have the answers here because I was not.
She's a chow, so
not watching. Yeah. And I want to say these two, they're very good friends. They mouse.
I've never seen an issue with them when I've gone out with you.
So I don't know what the hell it was.
Something eaten off.
But you can just see the teeth on her. It's I love I just love not what's happening, but I love just the. She reminds me of a fucking bear.
Yeah.
So look at she's
her ancient ass fucking
and
trying
Bailey
to kick
uses
on Bailey.
The arm to just say like whoa. Yeah. And you can see Bailey's saying,
and she's like, reacting to the situation. She was like, "This isn't okay. What are you doing?"
And there she goes, and that's where Bailey says.
Enough.
Like again, Bailey's very patient.
Yeah.
But once you cross that line of
she's done. Yeah, like what she's addicted to.
I think this is maybe not what started, but like Bailey's like I said, she's the alpha.
Yeah.
You're not gonna beat her. You're not winning it. And so she just honestly you can see a little bit of her fur. I don't know if that's Bailey ripped the fur. No, it fell off. Oh, no, that's a leaf. Is that a leaf?
That's a leaf.
Okay. A little bit of fur, but
yeah.
That was it.
It looks like mostly just fur being pulled, and it's more dominant stuff right there, I think.
Yeah, so she flips her.
And I think Eden felt maybe like her dominance was threatened.
Yeah. And Odin's not really
reacting.
Hey, that's my sister. But I think he knows that they're not
fighting to the death.
Yeah. Once
that's when you get a lot of dogs ganging up on dogs is when the actual fighting happens.
Yeah, so I get in, and now you can't really see this on the camera, so I'll try to, I guess,
explain it.
Yeah, so I got in, kind of grabbed Bailey, kind of like I did with Cheez-It. I just
you just lifted her.
Take my arm and put it around her rib cage or whatever, and I just lifted her off Eden, and that was it. It was done. Eden didn't come back. Bailey didn't try to go back. It was like
you separated the situation.
Just took 5 seconds.
I think it was probably just like a tussle that disagreement almost.
Yeah. It's interesting. doesn't sound great, right? Like, especially in the fast motion, it's hard. To, like, do you see how quick that was?
It was very quick.
Like
2 seconds.
If you see this, and yeah, it's just it's interesting. So there's no grudge. I've seen dogs hold grudges, like I mentioned.
Shiloh gets nervous around huskies because my sister's husky attacked him. Mm-hmm. He gets nervous around certain doodles or not doodle, but a poodle because that one black poodle attacks him. And then he's petrified of deerhounds because of the one that goes and tries to dominate him. And it's scary when you have a big dog coming at you, and he's not used to big dogs bigger than him trying to dominate him. Mm-hmm. So, disagreements happen often, and that's fine. But like at some point when you're dominating, that's like aggression. Yeah. When you're trying to dominate another dog, because that turns into fights, especially if the other dog is also very like alpha type. Mm-hmm. I don't want to use alpha as like I don't like the Caesar Milan alpha and beta dogs, and you gotta be the boss of them all, because it's not. You don't have to be. You have to have a relationship with the dogs. You're not the alpha. You want to be
just a leader.
A leader. You want to lead by example. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be the one who beats the dog down.
Like I had a couple today ask me, like, because I had my 8 dogs. We were walking. Everyone was being great. We did a couple laps quiet. Their dog was playing. They're like, how do you I'm like, I don't know, just love and compassion. Like, you don't need to be so crazy. Like,
exactly. You don't have to take the will out of the dog almost.
Yeah, because I see at the dog park, like, there was I don't know what kind of, I was walking with Jane, with Lawson and Daisy, and I haven't encountered him since. It happened twice. I encountered him 2 days in a row. Dog was on leash. Clearly didn't, not that the dog didn't like other dogs, but it didn't want other dogs approaching it. So he had it on leash.
He was probably leash aggressive or reactive.
Odin's going over, and the first time I'm sort of watching. I don't know this dog. And the guy puts it in a headlock, and the dog starts trying to like literally like rip Odin's face off. And so now the next day, when I'm with Jane and I see him, I'm literally calling Odin way before, but he's still, dumb Odin, has to go over. And the same thing happens. The guy grabs the dog, and I tried to explain to him, like, dude, like,
he's setting his dog off too.
Like, every time you do that, you're setting telling your dog like,
you can react like
bad
that.
Dog, like, like, what are you teaching your dog? Like, it's going to think every time a dog approaches, I need to do this.
Exactly. Like, he's not rewarding like the calm behavior. He's doing a negative effect to the dog to cause, the reaction. So he's probably getting nervous. The dog's sensing that he's getting nervous, and then he's putting his hands on the dog to cause it to most likely react.
And two, I'm not saying like he's choking it out, but just like getting the dog.
Exactly. It can be, the dog is very confused in that moment.
Yeah. And so it's like, if you're going to do, like, if...
That's the type of dog that, don't bring to dog park.
No. Yeah, I haven't seen him since. I kind of yelled at him a little bit.
Warm your dog. You got to build his confidence before you just bring him to an off-leash dog park.
Yeah. And, like, that's just Odin, right? And then I think, like, Kylie went up and it was, like, the same thing. But, like, okay, what happens to the other 20 people you just passed? Like, you're going to do that every dog?
Yeah.
It's going to hate dogs.
Exactly. It's going to react to the dogs all the same.
Like, if you had a child, again, I always like to compare them to children, just because it kind of, like, fits in a way. Like, do you want that child to live in a bubble? Like, I know. Are you going to, every time your child sees another child, grab your child and, like, bring it the other way? No, you don't interact with other children? Like, what?
Do you plan on putting your head child in a headlock every time a child comes up to it?
It's going to grow up and be a school or a mass kid. Like, that's how you break the brain.
Exactly. Like, you don't let them, like, experience the experience. Obviously, you don't want that dog obviously getting bit and vice versa. that dog wasn't obviously confident enough to be at that dog park. So that
like, dude, you need to not be here doing that. Like, go seek a behaviorist.
He needs
just clueless.
Yeah, seek a behaviorist, get a muzzle.
Yep.
And work on, interactions with a muzzle so neither dog is going to get hurt when your dog reacts.
The only way you're going to probably fix that dog is to keep exposing it. But you have to obviously do it safely.
Safely. One dog, don't bring it to off-leash dog park where all the dogs are running up to say hi.
It's like...
Because most of the dogs there are pretty friendly at that specific dog park, not saying all dog parks. But I'm apprehensive every time my dogs run up to a new dog because I get nervous. I'm like...
Yeah.
And especially when I go to on-leash dog parks, not even dog parks, but like on-leash parks. Like there's a Forge Pond in Hanover. And I always, whenever I see dogs on leash, I bring my dogs close to me because I don't want them interacting with a dog that's also on a leash because leash reactive dogs are a thing.
Yep.
Also, I don't know the other dog. Why are they on a leash here? Because they don't feel comfortable enough to go to off-leash dog park? Are they on leash here because they just want to focus on exercising their dog? And that's totally fine. Don't disrupt another dog's, routine.
It's funny because these are the same thoughts that go through my head even when I'm at the off-leash dog park.
Exactly.
Because it's like, same thing. Like, some people are just ignorant.
Yeah.
They'll have or some people don't know. And it's just like, I have to still keep that in my life. All right, let's keep it moving, kids. We don't need to.
Exactly.
There's more friends over there.
It drives me nuts that my boyfriend will Jetta he'll usually walk Jetta and I'll walk the two Borzois. He lets Jetta just walk right up to them even though their dog is behaving very well and not pulling, or even if the dog is pulling, I'm like, don't let her interact like that.
Yeah. Because
there can be tension. That dog may be pulling because it's, not friendly. And I'm like, don't let her pull you. She can be reactive too sometimes when another dog barks at her and she will pull and bark back. And I'm like, that's not okay. That's not what I trained her to do. But he's a sap and she is like his little shadow because I'm the mom and I do all the discipline and training. So obviously he lets her get away with everything. And I'm like, it's not okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times I have to say it, but it's the same thing every single time. I'm like, don't let her do that. If you see people coming, keep her under control. I'm like, do you see Shiloh or Fable pulling to see other dogs?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, maybe, but I correct them. I continue the walk. I don't let them interact with other dogs, especially if the other owner is just trying to walk by and not let their dog interact, especially if they're on leash. I'm like,
I always try to look at it as like, they're not, that person's not here for me to hang with me. They're doing their thing.
Same thing. I'm like, they may not want their dog to interact with other dogs. That's why they may be at this on-leash park, not even a dog park, a park. Don't let her go, because he walks her loose leash. I'm like, I'm going to have to take all 3 dogs and walk them myself. I'm like, why are you this stupid sometimes?
Well, maybe you can start a doggy daycare and vet facility.
Oh my God, don't. I already decided I'm going to retire as a trophy wife like this.
Awesome. I think we did a good, nice.
That was everything, yeah.
Unless there was any other clips you wanted to see and revisit, or were you?
No, those were good. I think I got my words out.
Yeah. Again, so now that we've been able to view all that and digest it, it's like, I don't think I have any real aggressive or issue dogs.
No.
In that video, did I let some things go a bit
Slide,
further than I normally would? Yes. For documentation's sake, is that? I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't want them to be in in that last one. I was like, once I see what's happening, it's like, all right, let's get in there and just
separate them,
stop it,
give them a minute.
It's so quick, in the slow mo. I mean, that was 4 times slow mo. So watching it back, that's why I love it. You can see all those little details, like Bailey pushing Eden. And them showing the teeth. But
before they even
reality,
make connection,
I mean, it was over and done before. I couldn't even
get to there,
realize what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Poodle's behavior.
Doodles.
Yeah. So Elsie.
Your doodle is a mutt.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you think about Elsie's nipping?
Again, like I said, that's more like antagonizing. I don't think it's more aggressive or anything. Again, hunting dog things. Grabbing at other animals is in their breed, so you can't really discredit that. Yeah. So I think it's
one thing you didn't see. I'd say the most time you see a dog feeling overwhelmed is probably Bailey.
Yeah.
And that's because they're all trying to get they all want to play with. Yeah. I don't know how to like process it if they're all trying to play with her.
It's funny when Jetta, before I had other dogs, and it was just her and me, her and I. I felt like every dog was on top of her all the time to try to play with her and that or try to hump her. I'm like, she's spayed. She was a pediatric spay. I got her spayed from at the rescue. She was already spayed when I got her, and I feel like more dogs were interested in her because of that almost. But all the time, and then I got Shiloh, and I feel like the energy transferred to him almost, or split more. Okay. And then I got Fable, and now Jetta, you see her, she's just kind of walking and doing her own thing, and no dog bothers her. She's fine with it. Yep. And all the energy's on Shiloh and Fable.
Yeah. I think, too, Bailey embraces it sometimes. Yeah. Like, she likes the chaos. Like, she's... I feel that. She's crazy. So...
She's a border collie, we can't say.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go heat some tacos up. Woo! There you go. And we'll figure out what we'll talk about next.
All right.
Awesome.
Until next week.
Good night, and thank you for all the knowledge again.
Night.